Oh, man, that was quick. Yeah, loop it. All right. Oh, okay. All the stuff is. I didn't know he replied. Maybe Jaden replied to the last show. So what we got right here? Oh, 19 people. Yeah, he's in here. Okay. Shout out to Jaden. Um, long day today. Hi, for those who don't know, I'm at Big Game. James _36 is Big Games BS, part of Dead Media Group, presented by AlphaClinicOnline.com. It seems like a lot of you guys really should, a lot of guys and gals need to go check out AlphaClinicOnline.com. Make sure you're getting that, getting yourself up to date. One of the things that I'm learning is a lot of us are brittle and I think hormonal because you guys are drinking nut juice. Stop drinking nut juice. Make sure you get everything taken care of and all that other jazz. I'm getting a retwist tomorrow, so I really don't care about any of this shit right here with my hair. So my hair is just gonna be wild. I'll be fresh for Fridays. If I have money left, because right now my youngest tapped me out. So yeah. So he has spent all kinds of bread. I'm going to stop using Alpha Clinic so I don't make any more youngins because these motherfuckers expensive, man. To have a child and to be able to have your own home is the biggest flex you can have because the rent's too damn high. Like I'm voting for anybody who can make gas prices go back to $2.30 and can make it. It can pay me to have kids because that's really what it all comes down to. We're not in Goodfellas. We're at home because it's a night show, and so Jaden's on the remote. Miles is right here in front of me, and we're going to try to have as much of a show as we can have without having a now 6-year-old interrupted. Side note: anybody parents made them be a certain age, like for longer than they were supposed to be? Because Kyle's going to be 5 years old for a long time because Texas Day Brazil is like the meal is like $10 for him to eat at under 5 years old. So that's one thing we're going to go for. But going into that, we got housekeeping. It's that time of year. Did you guys remember, those who listen to the show, a year ago, Florida State, when we were having our fantastic season, we actually did something crazy like beat Duke. And we had my fake nephew, Jack Coleman, came in. You know, Jack will eventually go completely blind. Update on Jack. Jack is now attending the Deaf and the Blind School in St. Augustine, Florida. His junior year in high school, he's flourishing. And I felt great about doing that. And again, I'm doing another one this year. And before we get into talking about what we did, like what we're doing this year, I do regret one thing. And I pray that he has gotten the opportunity to achieve this dream, because I think his Make-A-Wish was short-sighted. If you're going blind, what are some things that you guys would like to see with your Make-A-Wish if you were going blind? Like, I know what I would want to see. I would want to see some titties before I go blind. And I saw this meme that made me think about Jack. And it's one of the first things in Housekeeping. And it's what I really wish I could have done for the young man. And I know there was some young ladies at Florida State who were eager to do that. This would have been me and Jack. What's up? You want to say happy birthday? Did people say happy? Hey guys, right now, can y'all before we get into that, can y'all wish my killer, my favorite, a happy birthday? Show him what you smile, man. Show him what's going on. Show him the teeth. You got to smile big. Look right there. They smile big. Show him the grill. Hold on, I don't think they can see it. Yeah, lost that tooth. How old are you?
I'm 6.
Oh, shh. Don't tell the text neighbors. We told them you're 5. This is cool. All right. You want to tell them anything?
Mm-hmm.
You sure? You don't want to tell them get you subscribers?
Get you subscribers.
All right. Peace. I don't know what he just did. I feel like something just dropped. But go ahead. Show the thing. This is what if I was going blind, I think this would have been appropriate, but based on what the young man was going through, it would have been cool to be able to help him with this. And Bart Simpson showed us this is what I should have done, because sometimes the smallest gestures make men happy. I think this would have made the kid. He would have had to get closer, because I think he can't even see. I think it's like over past 6 feet. He can't see clearly. So you got to really get up. And from this cartoon drawing, it doesn't look like this lady has much. So we would either had to get a one that's well helped out, or he got to walk up on that thing and then there. But Luke is not going to have that issue. But we will get more once they announce the North Carolina, because they still haven't announced the North Carolina kickoff, right? For FSU. But in between then, you're going to be hearing a bunch of announcements about our 5th annual Gifts for Good Grades and some of the other different things that we have going on. I should have some exciting announcement about the athletic world, what we're doing with the MFTK Foundation here in the next couple weeks. But right now we got Gifts for Good Grades, year 5 uploading, looking to get 100 or more kids gifts of $30 who have improved their grades and their behaviors throughout this first half of the school year. Santa James is coming to town, Tallahassee and Jacksonville areas. Let's go to the next thing. We'll get George up there when we get to the FSU stuff here in a little bit. Jameis, everybody needs a Jameis Winston in their life. This is Jameis Winston feel about Coach Norvell. And this is just, we don't have the whole speech, but this is me, Jameis Winston's thoughts on Coach Norvell and Deshaun Watson are basically the same as my thoughts on Coach Norvell. So let's listen to Jameis speaks right now, because this is motivational. Jameis Winston, motivational minute.
And now he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up, and I'm going to be there for him, because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works, and I know who he is as a person, and that's all I have to say to address him.
Now, my guy, my teammate, Dominic Robinson, this is basically going to be me. Anytime, James, how do you feel about Coach Norvell? Play that again. Get that sound. James, how do you feel about Coach Norvell?
And now he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up, and I'm going to be there for him, because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works, and I know who he is as a person, and that's all I have to say.
James, you said that you used to say White Mike. You didn't like him. We thought you didn't like White Mike. What are your thoughts on him now?
Him. I'm going to lift him up, and I'm going to be there for him because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works.
It's amazing. He's so animated, dog. Oh, bruh. Andre, we'll click on Andre in a second, but before we get into the Florida State stuff, because we'll click on that here. My homeboy just got jammed up. His baby mama calls me and says, "Your boy done got caught cheating again." What would Jameis say if his homeboy got jammed up and caught cheating?
Now he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up, and I'm going to be there for him because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works.
It's just you can play that. When I go to a teacher's thing and they telling me my son is stupid, my son ain't doing everything he's supposed to do. James, can you come in? Can you come in and please vouch for my son? Tell the teacher why she should give him some extra credit.
I'm going to lift him up, and I'm going to be there for him because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works.
Like, you guys got to record. That got to be the recording. And you just play that for everything because I'm gonna lift him up because I see the way he fights. But nah, real talk though, that was funny with him talking about Deshaun Watson and people trying to bring up the fact that Deshaun's a nut ass freak bull and why Jameis is supporting the nut ass freak bull because you know what? Because Jameis is a nut ass freak bull. But that's our nut ass freak bull. Jameis Winston motivational minute. What is the next thing we got? 'Cause I know we got Florida State up quick. Oh, it's all the same clip. But I don't have Jaden, do you have the full clip of Jameis? I mean, if you do, you can pull it up. But while we're looking for that, I will play this for her. This is why she's not guilty. Like, we'll play this young lady right here. She went a prison uniform. Listen, man. Why they be looking so fine? Why they be looking so relaxed when they get out of prison, man? Like, I thought prison's supposed to be stressful, man. Can you play audio or something while showing this?
Of another thing?
Of this showing this video? We can't hear this audio?
What
We can't play audio or something else while we're showing this?
I don't know. We can try.
All right, let's see. Because, I mean, to me, the perfect overlay.
Yeah.
Because this is just another obstacle that she has to overcome. And I'm going to support her because I've seen the way she fights. She's trying to become, hey, man, all right, big mama, but she look young, man. Like, I got to ask old girl Coda if this is how they be looking like that. Because Coda did time, she did her time, but Coda like what we like as men. Coda is not half stepping it, but like, oh, you have the longer clip. Play the longer clip of Jameis. So is it over a minute? Because if it's over a minute, then we if it's over 2 minutes, we can't. That's too much. But we can maybe get that to the Florida State section. But go ahead, go to the next thing so we can get George on here. Oh man, yeah. Now we can bring George up. We can bring George up for this. This starts our Florida State stuff before we get into the gang stuff. Go ahead, bring George up. George, man, what's going on, my brother?
Man, just another night over here on the west side of Florida. I was cracking up watching them Jameis videos. He's had 3 or 4 of those the last couple of weeks, and he's found a new cadence there. It feels like he's trying to show a little bit less of the goofy, but he's like really been serious, and the passion, like in like a pastoral way that he defends these guys without getting into like details. Just, I'm going to be there to support him. I'm going to, raise him up and all that stuff. I've been loving it. And it's great to see that he's going to finally get his opportunity to start this week. So this will be the first week I really sit down and watch a full NFL game. So I'm going to go watch him play.
I'm betting against him because my fantasy football quarterback plays against him. I love Jameis though. But
oh, man. Who you got?
If you can go ahead and put up the video, you have the full video. We can go ahead and listen to the whole thing. But I'm a superstitious man. I think there's even I don't really fully believe in it, but I think sometimes if you put stuff in the universe, it comes to fruition. And apparently, but I also think I'm not gonna do. I don't care. Even though I bled, sweat, and cried for Florida State, I don't care enough about it to even make these outlandish bets, let alone follow through with some. Like, one thing I will never do is eat shit. And let alone, not only did the person who made the bet not follow through with their bet, but they made that bet because they wanted to be seen. But what's worse is these people who are following. Apparently, somebody followed through on the bet for somebody, and that's not how bets work.
And they ended up, it was like a brownie or something. That's been since debunked. The dude didn't even eat dog shit.
You said what?
The guy that the second person that actually was supposed to have owned up and ate the dog shit, apparently it was just a brownie or something. It was fake. He didn't actually eat it. So
real?
Yeah.
So both were fake?
From what I understand, the first guy, he disappeared. He never did it. And then this other guy came along supposedly to break the curse. He was going to do it, but he had a bag. He didn't show it on camera, and he ate something and went with milk. So I think it was.
Have you seen the new one?
Was a fake. Maybe not.
Play that. Let's play this new one. Let's see if we can figure out if Mythbusters can come up and anybody can tell us if this is actually fake.
Like you see the Syracuse.
Okay, this is a different bag.
I could do that. Yeah.
Put it in the cup.
The one I seen was a white bag. This one might be real. Oh boy.
Okay, it's clear now. I'm gonna dive in here. Wait, is this good? All right, bro. Florida State's cursed. We suck at football. But I love college. I love Florida State. And thank me when we beat Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, not even that
Okay.
bad.
So, looks like we may have a legitimate.
Just do it. Broke the curse. Cam Ward, your season's over. Ashton Genty for
There's a
Heisman.
nationwide
Florida
E.
State-
coli breakout, going on in the news from McDonald's.
So
We got dude eating dog shit for Florida State. If we beat Miami, it's 100% this guy's. That must have happened today when my head was in the dirt or something. I hadn't seen that one. I guess that looked pretty real.
all right, George, and forgive me. You just happen to be the first white person that I've been around since this has happened. Like, this is why I don't blame Chinese people eating bats for COVID. Because we go over here eating shit for Florida State wins. This is wild, man. But that's not how curses work. The person who set it up has to go, and they have to be the one to do it. But I don't think it's worth that much unless we have 4 or 5 more years of pain and suffering for somebody not eating shit. By that point, I'll go find this motherfucker and
Well, if
force
he
it.
truly did it, I hope this guy that ate the shit, I hope he gets some views out of it. Because what happens is, like, a lot of times it'll be like, oh, that's it. And, the poor guy that actually did it isn't going to get as much of a pop as he thought he would.
That is what leads me into what I want to talk about with you about Florida State as we talk about real life issues. I feel that there is a true outrage, and rightfully so, when you've only won 1 game out of the last 7. But a lot of this stuff is really just for views, and it's not outrage just rooted in facts. It's outrage by who can say the most outrageous things and get it. And it's funneled by guys who are getting Twitter clout. And I find it baffling that the reputables and guys who I really respect, one guy I really respect. Some of the other guys I like, some of the guys I don't. Like, how do you go from being so, like, again, like, now you always knew that this was going to happen. And if we go to the next, go to any of these other things right here, if you go to Nate, actually, and we'll start off with and I don't have the video. Jaden, if you could find the video of my former teammate, what my former teammate Dominic Robinson actually said, who I think is an amazing has a great knowledge of football.
I was glad to see War Chant use him again. I mean, I've been
Yeah,
saying that a lot. They need to get some former players, whatever the opinion is. Let's hear it from somebody who did it. Yeah.
right. And now I think Nate, who I think Nate went overboard on this. I like Dominic. But like he puts War Chant shouldn't have published that stuff from Dominic Robinson, but he would be an expert on misjudged talent being the fucking bust that he was at Florida State.
Really?
That face. I'm like, wow. That's a lot. But I think, until we get that the Dominic Robinson quote, I think I do know he said that he wouldn't. I know it was something that he wouldn't trust them to judge talent on an X scale or something like that. But you see people kind of over exaggerate a lot of the different things. Tell me what you feel, just in as straight as possible, as real as possible. Like no puns or anything intended when it comes. We have Dominic. Before we do that, let's click on Dominic Robinson. Let's listen to what my teammate, actually, my former teammate and guy who I happen to really like, actually said. And by the way, Dominic Robinson not only was a 5-star prospect from out of the California area, he was originally coined primetime too. He actually had a son that was one of the best prospects in the nation last year as a tight end and a baseball player. D-Rob was actually a good baseball player too. So let's listen to D-Rob and what he has to say.
That staff and their talent evaluation, as far as me to this camera right in front of me, because they clearly evaluated a lot of talent, they've had a lot of misses in terms of talent evaluation. This is supposed to be the best O-line we've ever seen. It might be the worst we've ever seen. DJ was supposed to be a great fit. He's obviously not a fit. Yeah. There's a lot of things that just aren't fitting. And so, I think the question needs to come back to our talent evaluation and our talent acquisition. Are we getting the guys that we're supposed to be getting? Are we going after the guys that we're supposed to be going after in the first place?
What are your thoughts on that, George, when you hear that?
The thing is, like, you have the opportunity to get a Dominic Robinson on, and I didn't watch the full, if it was like an hour and a half interview or whatever. I'd seen this clip maybe a time or two before. Like, everything he's saying is fair. You're 1-7. At this point, with the benefit of hindsight, coming off 13-0, now you're 1-7. It's easy to look at all this stuff like it's the same offensive line. You just went 23-4. It's all the same guys. I think I would lean more development being the issue and kind of just recruiting. Like, they've evaluated the best players in the country. They just haven't got them on National Signing Day. But to your point, like, what's the point in say, like, what good does it do in saying it? Do they have an agenda to maybe get a coach out of there? I know Jeff and Corey and some guys have been pretty, tough on Norvell. From my perspective, like, yeah, you have to look at it. We're doing 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 podcasts a week. And if you're going to sit there and talk about FSU for an hour, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, when you're 1-7 and all these terrible things going on, it's hard not to. We have a show called The Roast where that's like what they do. They do it to everybody, but Florida State's 1-7, so they're kind of the target of it. And we get a little hate from that, but I'm like, that's what it is. It was going to be that we roasted every team in the country. We're going to do it. But as far as the weekly show, it sucks, man. When you're a big time FSU fan like I am, the whole reason I got into this, starting to cover the team with articles and then podcasts and what we're doing now, I don't want to get on here and dump on it, but there's just not that much good to talk to. You lose to Duke for the first time, people are going to vent. But there is a certain level where it gets kind of frustrating when you ask a question about where we're at in week 8, and it kind of devolves immediately back into talking about week 1 and week 2, and things that there's only so much you can do right now. I've had conversations with you for the past 2 or 3 years about Randy Shannon and the kind of issues with the D-line and the recruiting there, but we were sold that this was a big D-line and O-line class, And here you are with Alex Atkins and worried about the offensive line, and you're walking a tightrope of, do we keep him till after December 4th, or let this thing snowball out of control? I don't see him pulling the trigger till December 5th. I don't have anything wrong with what Dominic said. I just kind of like, he just said something that we all kind of, it's all there. Like, nobody needs to be reminded of that. I keep saying, like, people want to compare the 23 recruiting class, portal class, to the 24 portal class, and that's where the biggest issues are. I don't think so. I think if the offensive line opened up big holes and gave DJU all time to throw, maybe he would have worked out. I think maybe even if you win that Georgia Tech game, you don't end up in this yip situation with so many pass catchers and things of that nature, and they kind of lost confidence on the offense. So, I don't know if I answered your question there, but to give you a general thoughts on where I'm at right now, I guess that would be my best.
I think what you did was you answered it without the extra seasoning, and I give you kudos to the roast. That's literally the job of that show, is to roast and have puns and anecdotes and be. It's a roast. It's one of the things, but I have a problem. I have no problem with us admitting that we're wrong. I'm willing to admit, at the end of the day, even if I'm right, I am wrong. What I have a problem with, though, is going back and completely defecating on the people who I, in turn, especially when we've seen it and it's ball, right? So I got joked about Morlock, right? Which I've never been 1,000% high on, but I felt like when you're 6'7", 250, you should be like, but if Morlock doesn't, like, if the passes are, like, not saying DJU was a world beater, but think about the passes in the games that DJU, and we literally, and what I told people, and this isn't me coming and saying I'm right, because we're still 1-6, but one of the things I told everybody, it's not all DJU. It's not going to change. You can't, like, DJU didn't make those guys drop those passes. Oh, well, they're behind Brock, they're behind this, and that's what Warchant said, but they're not. Brock stinks. He has stunk in the games that he's played. Because I don't want to demoralize Brock, because, but the proof is in the product. People kept saying free the youngest because you can't get any worse, and then when we get worse, you're complaining bitching about it being worse, but we're freeing the youngins. Luke comes in, and you can't say it's the evaluation of talent. Because D-Rob has made some big drops in his life. That doesn't mean D-Rob wasn't good as a wide receiver. D-Rob started as a corner, right? That doesn't mean he was a bust to me. We didn't misevaluate D-Rob. Maybe it's two things that could happen. Maybe he wasn't utilized right, and maybe he didn't perform to the level of the expectations in which that he was supposed to. See, that's the only problem I have with former players when we come into this spectrum. And we know we've been through that before. It's real easy for us to become what we did not like, when all we got to do is be real. Talent doesn't get like that. Luke Cromenhog play. Luke got wide. The talent got wide the fuck open, if I remember correctly, on that post, and the ball hit him square in the fucking chest. That's not a misevaluation. That's literally the only person to blame on that play is Kentron Portier.
Wide receiver, like, I don't think it's pretty hard to say you didn't miss on some guys, and like, that's fair, but it's not, it's not like we didn't hit on a bunch of guys out of the portal the past 3 years as well. So
what can Ron, like, and I'm not defending Ron, again, shit like this happens, somebody got to get fired. On that play in particular, what can Ron Dugans have coached him to do better?
No, it's the fact you don't, like, it's the fact that you have 22 drops and you don't have a youngin that's ready to step in. The fact that when you talk about free the youngins, the only people you can look to are true freshmen. It's like, I've been singing pretty much this same song the whole year. It's like trying to play the nice guy. It's like, man, it's tough. You're 1-7, but the vitriol and the nastiness, there's no room for that. There's like a want to hate on the battle's end as if they were the ones that evaluated it and had some sort of ultimate control over who got in and stuff. I just
Now I'm saying,
it's
if
tough.
somebody
Like
wants to continue to,
where's the positive thing to find in it, James? Is there a silver lining in all this? You know, that's the tough part.
yeah, there's a silver lining in all this. I mean, the thing is, the play was there to be made.
Yeah.
That's the silver lining. That means
That almost makes it, that's what makes it so bad though, almost, because Mike Norvell is the guy that's calling plays. Like, okay, you're gonna fire Alex Atkins, he's the OC. Well, he's not even calling plays.
right.
Well, it's like, well, it's because the offensive line sucks. Well, then you can't demote him to offensive line to keep everybody. Like, it's just tough. It's a it's a cheese grater of a situation, and that's why Mike Norvell's going to age 5 years. I believe he can come out and fix it on the other side.
Yeah.
But as this thing gets worse and worse, it's starting to fall on deaf ears. That's why I'm glad to be here with you tonight to talk about the actual things, because there are positives. All these games are close. We're not getting blown out.
Here's the thing: is misery loves company, and you can't be in an echo chamber and continue to say the same things over and over again, and then expect people to listen to you when just a few weeks ago you were out there doing the same things. Like, for example, when we talked about even with the youngins in the Clemson game, we had Amari Williams catch a touchdown that LaWayne McCoy almost knocked his ass out and didn't catch it. It's at a certain point, this is a professionalism. If you're not on the field, like I just saw, I'm gonna tell you what I'm tired of. I'm tired of Bible scriptures, not Bible, not people like reading the Bible. Do whatever the fuck you want to do, but if you would devote your time to that playbook in the manner in which you are to pull out scriptures that you feel are going to garner you the sympathy, you would play. You're like, that's the crazy part is people. I have no problem with it. I'm a youngin' that was freed. I played as a true freshman. I never redshirted, but I wasn't going out there quoting Philippians 4:13 when I didn't play. When I got on the field, I got an opportunity. That's the part that I think people are missing with the free the youngest part. Free yourself. You're at practice every day. Like, show something that makes it to where you, like my mother, Carmen Coleman, always told me, be so good they cannot deny you. That's clearly not happening. A youngin' that will be free, because when he did get the opportunity, I fully believe Luke Cromarhawk, if it's not this game, it will be sometime this season. And the only reason I don't believe it may be this game is because they want to preserve his year. You can make a fucking argument for Luke to play, because Luke's first play should have been a touchdown.
He had that when he got out there. He had that boom impact player icon pop up. If you're playing Madden, like you could feel it. He made I had three NFL throws.
Mm-hmm.
They were all dropped or whatever. Offensive holding, something came back, but like he had three amazing throws. Yeah, you saw it there. I think the reason they pulled him, and I don't blame Mike for pulling him on that third drive. People had all kind of theories. I think it's just because he's only got so many options in the playbook from the amount of reps he's got, and like kind of don't get him killed out there. But yeah, I agree with you. I think you do whatever you got to do to keep him happy and keep him opportunities. But
and then
yeah,
that's it too. I'm so like that. Like, I talked to John Cromarhawk. Like, John's like, what the fuck are they talking about? I'm not going anywhere. The problem I have isn't the fact that we're not just analyzing the stink, and there's plenty to talk about in that. But what are we doing about it? Like, and it's why I say Miami media is the best media. It's a police state. Even when they stink, they'll talk in spaces, they'll talk about how bad they are. But the actual print media, and then when it's time to go lock and toe to toe, they're not going around. They weren't going around when they were trash saying, hey, man, when are you decommitting?
Hey, man, we have to somewhat be honest, with what we do and kind of the product we put is kind of, that's what it is. It's the bleeding heart, what information I have, to kind of bring to the audience, the roast, that Jen and Tiny Hat do, they kill that. It's about jokes. But Florida State itself, it's so stringy with these credentials. There's only 3 or 4 outlets that have them that you can say off the top of your head. They need a propaganda arm that is more powerful than their current Seminoles TV and all that. Like, yeah, there's just a level to Miami and even Florida in some of these things where they just put the blinders on and they're still going to put out the hype stuff and do all these things. that I agree Florida State needs a little bit more of that. I'd be all up for doing that.
I don't think
Yeah.
you need to sugarcoat things. I just think you need to not be an attention whore. That's all I'm thinking. Like, again, that's not coming after the roast, because I think that's hilarious. Like, I think,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think there's a time and a place for these things. Hell, I do it on my show. Like, I think that drop. I don't dislike Kentrell Portier, but I definitely said what I think he said he couldn't catch COVID butt naked he couldn't catch a cold butt naked in Alaska with wet draws on and COVID and people with COVID coughing on him. Like, it's just but that was just what the situation was. And again, it's not even necessarily about you being a fan or not. It's just about, let's just tell the truth and let's not imply or go to different routes, because there's enough in there. But like, when I say they can't evaluate talent, then that means I have to completely disregard the 23, because what we got, let's say we have 7 losses right now. Yeah, 3, 4. So 24-11 is totally disregarding talent. You can't see anything. Yes, you missed. And the beautiful thing about it is everybody keeps talking about this shit like you got to stick around with these guys for 4 years. You don't. You do not have to stick around with these guys. The beautiful thing about NIL is that you can, in the new transfer portal rules, is I can get rid of everybody. Now, they shouldn't, but every year you're going to bring about 30 new faces between guys that need to leave, between guys that enter guys that are seniors, and maybe a guy or two that may actually be decent enough to enter the draft.
So,
but not very many of those guys this year.
Before we move on from Elijah McCoy or Elijah Moore and LeWayne McCoy, like there's part of this Free the Youngin movement that I'm 100% on board with you. Like, there's a difference in Edwin Joseph coming out to practice and being like, if you don't want to be here, get the F out, and then goes out there and plays with his hair on fire. In the kind of Instagram scriptures saying, let me play and stuff. But then, coach, the reporters make them talk about those two guys every week. But I think with wide receiver, like, just imagine how bad this offense would be if, like, the receivers weren't even in the right spots for the quarterback. So, like, that would be that would bring a whole nother episode of interceptions and issues with a true freshman. And so I get that part of it. But what I don't understand, and where I do get super critical, it's philosophical, whatever the case may be, is, but you're super comfortable putting in true freshman running backs, which it's one of the easier positions. But you, like, for example, we'll start here. You open the game, Lawrence Toafili runs it for 10 yards, then he catches a screen for 17 yards. And then I don't see him for 3 series.
That's messed
And then
up.
in that span, Cam gets 3 or 4 carries on a first down. It's like, why can't we trust for one drive the senior and not put it in the hands of a freshman? Like, 50 snaps, 10 carries. Like, people call me Toafili's agent. It's just like, if that's the reason the wide receivers are on the bench, like, I love Cam, but like maybe let's ride Toafili down the field once or twice, give him opportunities. But yeah, that's my one big thing that I would love your full attention.
He was moving the ball on that drive where he fumbled, and that was the crazy part. Is Toafili was like the guy that got the ball rolling before we fumbled the ball. I actually said that against Georgia Tech. I was like, I think that's entirely too early or too tight of a game to put him in that position right now.
Lean on it. I don't understand why they won't lean on 9. They don't want to run him. It doesn't have to be in between the tackles. It could be off tackle. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just hand him the ball, let him see it and go. Because for my eyes, and I know a lot of other people out there, he sees the game. It's the slowest for him of anybody. Sometimes it's not going to go for any gain, but it's never going backwards. And I love Cam. Like, there's a role for Cam there in that, like, a smash and dash element. But the way they do it is 2 or 3 plays, Toafili off the field, and now it's Cam. It's like, I hate it. I really hate it. And I'd like it from a former running back. Your opinion on it?
I think the perspective is very simple. I mean, I think what they should do is go 20 personnel or 21 personnel if your wide receivers are not your better guys.
Why not bring 3 out there with him?
And just go out there and put both of them on the field. Toafili has some of the best hands on the team, and he's a dynamic playmaker in space. I don't really know what the thought process is in all of that. I also think you can do the similar thing with Sam Singleton, and as well as
He found something back there, boy. Sam
what
looked good. Every one of them kick returns. That was nice.
I joke with people, I tell people all the time about Sam Singleton is I got a chance to see Sam Singleton in high school, and I knew Sam Singleton was the truth because and I knew he could skate. But the funny thing is we've returned a kickoff return for a touchdown in the second half 2 years in a row against Duke. Last year, that was a spark that changed us with Deuce returning that bad boy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
House, but last year, and then Sam doing it this year. But I'll say this: what was it? 3? I didn't realize. I still have not watched that game. I can't bring myself to watch it. But I do know 3 for 10, 2 interceptions, and 3 consecutive drives with turnovers is not optimal. And I can promise you this, that's not what the play calling was to turn the ball over in those situations.
That
but
would
I
be
just think that
devastating.
some of the stuff that we say is wild. And it's funny because this same publication, and we're on the opposite ends of it. So when Norvell first got there, it was after year 1 when we really hit the transfer portal, and they brought up how many Warchant brought up how many starts everybody had. And this was when they had Disney Store, Mackenzie Milton in there as well. And they brought up all of these different things to show why they needed to do this and why it needed to happen. And I was more critical then because the product was bad. But even though the product is really bad, there's no arguing the product being bad at this juncture. It is things though that you can, again, when I say that when there's plays to be made, you can yell and fuss and scream and come up with creative ways to say that a team stinks. But at the end of the day, players make plays, coaches call plays. And what's odd and ironic in all of this, and again, for me, and this is why I put a little bit more on the players, is that I, just like my teammate, played for Jeff Bowden, one of the worst play callers in Florida State history. And I can tell you, plays were to be made. And what I can't, and this is where, I would love to talk to one of these guys. I just, like, maybe at the end of the season, off the record, however they feel, like, I cannot understand how you could go on a field and have the opportunity to play for one of the most prestigious programs and not make plays. It's not that you're blanketed. It's not that you don't have the opportunity. And this is what I would argue with people who continue to make claims and proclamations about even the offensive line. Because I cover the NFL. Do you know what the average time that a quarterback in the NFL has the ball before they throw it?
3 seconds is that's like the line, right?
2.3 seconds.
2.3, that, or the NFL, yeah.
Yeah, 3 seconds is a lot.
That was the average in college football last year.
What I'm going to empower people to do is I'm going to educate you on how to watch a game. Now, it's going to fuck you up because you won't watch the game for fun, which I don't know how to do that. I just watch the game to watch the game, but I do enjoy it that way.
You definitely affected the way I watch games, the few games I've got to watch in person with you.
Count how many seconds the quarterback has to throw. If they have 3 seconds, they have time. There is somewhere that 5 seconds is an eternity. I counted against Duke. I counted against numerous other places where they actually do have time. It's just what we do. When we see a sack, we automatically assume that there's a guy. Now, these are cats. These are good players. They're teams that are. Clemson, he had eternity to throw.
There are plays to be made. There's no doubt. And I've been defending that all year long.
Again,
but it starts to fall on deaf ears. Like
fire Alex Atkins. Now my guy Seymour definitely agree with firing Alex Atkins because he knows Alex Atkins gets one more recruit, he gonna have to pay that bread. But that's there. You're gonna fire the one guy who has the solution to your problems? But are you gonna look at why? I'm gonna tell you this. Mandarin High School, again, going back to high school, one of the most loaded teams in the state. You know what loaded teams in the state can't prevent? Injuries. You lose Tremel, you lose Jamie, we lose a lineman, we lose 3 defensive linemen. For the year, well, Jamie's out for one more week, but for the year, you don't think our expectations are the same as much as we want to say, but you don't think that kind of changed the trajectory of our program a little bit this year? So you lose a couple guys to injury on the offensive line. That Richie Leonard's gone. It's a bunch of guys that are gone.
Jalen Early's been a good bright spot. He really played well.
But let's think about what happened to a young guy that had a bright career that never got a chance to develop, that we just try to back out there and live.
Robert Scott.
He can barely move. His career is done. He's going to go pro in something other than sports, and I like the kid.
Maury Smith to a similar degree. Like, I don't know why he's having trouble snapping the ball. I know he's been hurt. He battled through things. He beat out some pretty damn good centers that transferred in and transferred out. Like, these are all things that we thought, I don't think everybody and their brother on the FSU staff at ESPN and all these different things was wrong. I think you just, you've got a whole, like, it's why, like I said, Mike's going crazy, because when you look, there's so many different things that are happening. So, like, when one guy drops a pass that normally doesn't, it just, oh shit, we can't even count on Portier to catch it anymore. Like who are we going to go to? It spirals. It's a mental.
That's the wild part, is that I know why I said something like, man, he'd be looking lost, man. But then I looked at it and I'm like, shit, I see why that shit would make me pull my hair out too. Now, again, every play is not going to be good, but you're going to have, if you can see 10 big plays that were there to be made, they're all to blame. But talk about that. That's the truth. Like, and what bothers me is when you call them reputable media sources, and the reputable media sources can't be reputable. I covered, do you think, like, again, NFL coverage, you fucking think all we do is shit on Doug? All we do is shit on Trent Baalke? All we do is shit on Shad Khan? All we do, like, I unfortunately, I have a lot of experience covering trash, covering mid. Actually, I can't even call it mid. Got to call it trash. But if you're a professional, call it what it is. Like, I saw a guy who I have tremendous respect for in Jeff Cameron. And Jeff Cameron's just yelling about it. Fire them all. But what the funny thing is like, I don't like that shit, because at the end of the day, cats is going back and it's all smiling Hallmark cards, because you really truly don't feel that way. You're trying to generate and garner clickbait, because I'll tell you the truth, because I get a chance to see it now. The numbers are low. Well, you stink. That's the truth of the matter. That's why you have to create quarterback controversies. That's why nobody's being fired until at earliest before, when we're officially out of bowl competition, and probably right before the Thanksgiving game. Because even if you fire them, you can't go and recruit the guys that's coaching, and you're over there searching and scrambling for things.
Yeah, look, we do our own thing, independent. You got the amazing Gator Bowl thing, job, which is great. Your job with the news and covering Jacksonville. But as far as covering Florida State, not technically credentialed, even though you have access. We can say what we want. Like, I've been doing a lot less content. People can say running away or whatever. I'm still doing 2 or 3 shows a week, but it's like, I don't want to get the guys together to just shit on the team for an hour and a half every day. But, when you've got 40,000 subscribers, then you're usually getting all these thousands of views off of every little practice clip and every, 5 times a week, and all that's cut in half. Like, there's a lot of overhead and all that goes into that. So it's like Fox News or CNN or anything else. So yeah, I totally agree with that. It's depressing as a fan. I couldn't imagine how it feels as a former player to hear some of these things, especially not when it's not in a funny kind of way, when it's from a pulpit. We all see it. We all know we're 1-7. We all know there's 22 drops. how big was that Destin Hill injury before the season starts? Looking back, like there's so many things you can look at. But one positive is the defense. Like I get we're ranked 92nd or whatever, but 27th in total off defense, which I usually poo-poo on that stat, but it's like it's just special teams and defense is doing enough for us to win these games, keep them close. David Hale had a tweet about, what's happening with these offenses FSU's facing. And they're right, because like Duke was like, shit, we just about knee it on a couple of those drives where they're just running halfback dive when we've got 8 guys in the box because they know FSU's offense is going to do something. They're going to throw a pick 6 or something. They were right. So how much of it is that and how much of it the defense is pretty good? I just think there's only so many times your offense can just throw the defense out there. I will say if the defense was playing like it is now at the beginning of the year, you might have had a chance to get this thing going. Like Pat Surtain all of a sudden has these DBs communicating and playing with, a lot better leverage and all those things. But
the only pushback I'll give is if you can't score 24 points, it doesn't matter how the defense was playing.
Yeah, for sure.
There was only one game where it got out of hand. And to be honest with you, it got out of hand because the offense threw a pick 6. We didn't score a touchdown at the end of the half, and we threw a pick 6 to come out of the half. That's the truth. Like everybody, again, the problem that I have with all of this stuff is that people don't tell the truth and they pick the easy targets. It's easy to say we need to fire Adam Fuller. It's hard to say that if you're not scoring points, you're not doing your job. And it's easy to say the offensive line isn't doing their job, but it's harder to say that if the bitch Kyle Morlock doesn't drop the damn ball, and people don't have to can't just put 8 in the box and dare us to catch it, we may have a better push in the run game.
When the offensive line does block it up, you got to make that play. When the wide receiver is open, you got to make that play.
I will say this. Everybody's talking about the go-go offense now. Shout out to people who know. Who's the first person who talked about the go-go offense?
I think that Steve, your guy Steve, I know Deshaun credits somebody, but I know he was on him early.
Man, I've been talking about this guy since last year. Actually, I've been talking about him since I thought there was rumors that he may go to the University of Florida. And I was like, yo, I don't want to see him go to the university because he had this clip where he was talking to one of the guys like, yo, shut the fuck up. And then he kept walking. The guy kept going, yo, shut the fuck up. Like I was like, yo, I like a guy like that. And there's a relationship. I've seen somebody add it goes so far. Again, people don't even know how to hire coaches.
I got a perfect one to tee you up for you right here on this. So people act like Oklahoma's in a better position because they fired their guy to get Brennan Moore than Florida State would be if they waited till December 5th. I'm of the opposite opinion, but how do you feel about that?
You would have to bring somebody in who's not equipped to recruit. And they have people who can, but like my thing is that who do you like right now? Everybody's okay. So there's one person. There's only one. There's Mike calls plays. Let everybody say. And so who would Mike fire that's going to change the play calling? Nobody, because unless he fires himself. Now, what he can do is say, I am going to relinquish control of play calling, and I'm going to manage game day to Alex Atkins or whomever. That's fine.
But that deal can be made behind the scenes just as easy as Oklahoma signing a contract now that they have an open position at offensive coordinator, right?
But who is Oklahoma going to hire right now that they fired that guy?
Well, we're talking figuratively. If they were to go after, are they in a better position to sign?
No.
Marion?
No. Because Marion's got a job to do right now. That would be.
Yeah, I agree. But this was a big thing. I know you've seen it on the timeline. Oklahoma, they're making moves and we're going to get caught. But I'm like, this guy ain't going to leave UNLV. They got a chance for a playoff. He's staying there.
Perfect example like this. Mike Norvell is the perfect example. I'm going to be honest with you. You don't fire a coach in the middle of the season to hire a G5 fucking coach. You fire a coach in the middle of the season because you feel like you can get a guy from the NFL or a guy that's already not coaching and you have it designated. You've been told no. So the reality of the situation is just because you fire somebody, It doesn't give you a leg up. That coach already probably because you're still going to pay that guy. That guy's still on payroll. Just because you fire him doesn't mean he doesn't get paid anymore.
It's
Now,
like you start dating a chick while she's married, and then she wants you to marry her. Well, I don't trust you now, bitch.
what happens is now you have another coach that has to step in and, prepare and do those different things. And that might happen. Only thing firing does is satiate a fan base that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that's no knock on our fan base. It's literally just to make people feel good because people want a head to roll, which I have no problem. That's why I always just say, tell me which head you want to roll and let's roll with it. But I was like, don't tell me the one guy who actually is holding our fucking recruiting class together. Don't tell me that guy.
The offensive line class is so important. I get people want to poo-poo it, and what has he brought in? I don't care what you want to do after, demote him, actually bring in the UNLV guy to call plays. That would be great for Mike to make that move. I think that would help him. He could probably even help coach the wide receivers more if he stepped down from that play calling thing or whatever.
He has positions that he coaches.
But yeah, I totally disagree with all that.
What Mike will do is step back after he gets some time and evaluate. Jobs are people are hired and fired in December, and you have the opportunity to see what they do. You have to interview people, and you're not doing and even when these guys, you're doing it behind the scenes. There's people who that's the cool thing about having money in private jets. You can see people fly and go into different places at different times. With that we don't even know. Stacey Smith, we're not hiring Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan doesn't even fucking coach, has absolutely no desire to coach college football.
They talk about Rex Ryan in the chat.
Things.
Oh man,
guys, this isn't Madden. You don't just put names in a hat and just pull them out. It doesn't work like that. And relationship, and people are hired through coaching relationships. Plus, the other side of it is, who knows what's going to happen when the coaching, if I were Marion, what I would be looking at is what's going to happen when Jimmy Sexton goes in and does his job. Jimmy Sexton hasn't even warmed up yet. In 2 weeks, Jimmy Sexton's season begins. And some of y'all don't even know who the fuck Jimmy Sexton is. Jimmy Sexton is the man who controls college football. Once Jimmy Sexton gets in and starts getting people hired and fired, that's when people are going to start shifting and looking at who the coaches are. Here's the thing. Where's the Indiana coach going to go? Is he staying in Indiana, or will he be at the university? Is the University of Florida going to stick with Billy Napier, or is he going to win enough to be able to extend his contract? Is Guidry going to take a head coaching job? It's not just there's so much stuff. There's so many things that go into all of this. It is not just, I don't like this guy, we should fire him. It's literally a situation and this happens in schools that fire head coaches too early. They fire coaches thinking they're going to get somebody else, and then realizing that maybe they ain't the prettiest girl in the ball, and somebody else gets that guy, and then they're stuck with Jim McElwain. Or you're stuck with, even though he did pretty well there, and then you're stuck with my other guy, who they fired and before Billy Napier. Why can't I think of his name?
I don't want to be UF with 10 different coaches in 2 decades.
Again, but I do think Mike, which the one thing is, the cool thing of Mike is Mike actually does have a coaching tree. And he can actually go find some people and actually do some different things. But right now, you got to focus on what the main thing is. And I think, there's ebbs and flows. Now, I definitely don't think it was going to be this bad, but I do think this. I do know this. You got battles you got some other things, some stuff that it's not as bad as, it's not going to consistently be as bad as what it needs to be. But what I do tell everybody who's on the Fire Mike Norvell train, I would never tell you not to be on that train. The standard is the standard, and the standard is over everything.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm not on that yet, but there's just only so much to talk about.
If you want him gone, be proactive. But here's the problem: is a lot of y'all just want to stand on your soapbox and scream and say I'm angry, and nothing will satiate your anger because the reality of the situation is your life should not be controlled this much by 17 to 22-year-old boys.
We're also just in a brand new era of college football. Look how many great college football coaches just can't do it anymore. They just out of touch. Like, it's a brand new group of folks coming in right now.
65,000, George, here it is.
A lot of mitigating issues here.
65,000 people to pledge $1,000 over 4 years. If that's what you want, put your money where your mouth is and get 65,000 people to pledge.
I'll keep paying the Battles in my little monthly amount.
But what I will tell you is this, that things will get better. And I just saw, what's wild is I just saw a Miami beat writer write this, and at least he was being honest, is that Miami's probably has 3 losses if Cam Ward is in the quarterback, and that this team is very reminiscent of of last year's Florida State team. They have a bunch of transfers and seniors or upperclassmen that are there, and they peaked at the right time, and they have the best quarterback.
I could go on this. Yeah, I like their defense nowhere near as good as Florida State's last year. Their offense probably a little bit more efficient just because of Cam, but like there isn't some giant. Their entire team didn't get that much better. Like Cam Ward, though, man, he's been playing some damn good ball, and Martinez was also a very good pickup. But yeah, there's a people jump quick to compare those two teams, and it's like, yeah, maybe after Jordan Travis went down, but even in the rankings and the polls and things, Miami's they're a victim of not having anybody on the schedule, and that's our fault maybe. But it's like, damn, you've had 3 ACC games and they were all down to the wire, teams putting up 30 and 40 on you. Miami might have already given up more points than FSU gave up all year last year.
Yeah, that's true. But listen, George,
but the offense again, number one. So
I appreciate you stepping on. We got to talk about some other different things. But man, we'll get on this. I know we didn't get a chance to do Mark Rogers because I was celebrating my baby boy's birthday and some other different things. But we'll get back to it a little bit later on. But man, I appreciate you hopping on here with us for a little bit.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you asking me on.
All right, brother. That's George. Go follow him. Renegade Report. And as well as the roast. They got a lot of good things going on in that channel. Make sure you guys go give that a sub and whatnot. We'll get going. We got a couple more other things. There's just some AI stuff that was funny with that. Andre put, what are the ramifications of banning media at practice? There are none. Jimbo did that for a while. You should see what Nick Saban did to Alabama people. And they just like, yeah, they could do whatever they want to do. I think the worst thing they'll do is just write bad stories about them. Like, ain't shit else going to change. But a couple of these things are funny. Go to where is it? Is it my mixtapes on X? No, that's the fine bitch. And don't want to see somebody eat shit. Somebody talks about him. I don't want to talk about it. We already talked about that. Oh, the funny thing. AI is getting too good, man. This almost simulated his voice, his cadence, and everything. But this is funny right here, man. Everybody keeps talking. Y'all keep talking about Mike with the cornrows, man. If Mike walks in that motherfucker with some cornrows, man, I'm gonna think less of him right now. Like, you start the season off with cornrows. Don't do it now. It'll be gimmicky. But this is what one bored Florida fan did, and I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of funny. Here's Mike Norvell's press conference.
Good morning, press. I want to address the way the season's going. I see a lot of banter on social media. Yes, I understand that we are 1-6, but guess what? Custer, my buyout is over $60 million, and y'all aren't going to pay it. So get used to this. Our quarterback room fucking sucks. DJ, you ugly fucked us over in the front half of the season. And now Brock Glenn has us tied by the nuts and is fucking us over in the back half. But I suck at coaching and recruiting, so it's all my fault. Let's climb. Good morning, press. I want to address.
Yeah, it's like the last part is what lets me that I knew that wasn't him. That's his voice. That's not like that. That wasn't his voice inflection on the Let's Climb. But yeah, that AI thing was I ain't gonna lie, dog, that was kind of funny, man. That should be funny, man. You got to be able to see. That's like I expect that. Like if they did that, like if we did, like I was talking about doing an Angry Mike Norvell segment. Like that's some shit. That's ways to like get over the rigmarole and the hurt of all of the other shit. But you know, yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. I'll say this though. Nobody listens to me. Because if they did, people would be out. You know who finally listened to me? The Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to play for you guys some clips of me talking about the Jaguars and what we needed to do in order to beat the New England Patriots. So just click on this and you click on the first one.
Welcome back to our Ready to Roar pregame show. Chris Porter now alongside James Cody, my brother from another mother, our insider. Good to see you, baby. Welcome back to our Ready to Roar pregame show. Chris Porter now alongside James Cody, my brother from another mother, our insider. Good to see you, baby. Hey, man, it's good to be seen. All right, let's talk about our Jacksonville Jaguars. They got a matchup today.
Apparently that suit color is deep.
We heard some interesting stuff this week, James. First of all, a veteran comes out and says his teammates quit in the game and the loss to the Chicago Bears. Then people saying we're out of shape, they get in shape, they get back to the basics.
Actually, no, we're talking about Chicago Bears. Fuck that. Go to
training camp stuff.
I think I broke it down real quickly.
You're not at Chris hands very fast. When you look at the win and you look at his performance against Houston, the ball was out of his hands very, very quick, and they took 4 shots, and he was more accurate with those shots. But those shots mostly came from Brian Thomas Jr. You have to be able to get that young man involved and not just, with your new tight end, force the ball to him. He is a weapon. Utilize your new weapons, but go with what he's been.
Jags win if they do.
Okay. That was it? Oh, no. No, keep going.
I want to say this. I wish I could show you behind the scenes over here, that nice shot you got. You just keep praying to Jesus. Look it up. I'm just joking.
That's the way the Jags win. Pray. I went to church the last time that they won, so I'll try that again.
All right.
I didn't go to church, but the Jags won by doing exactly what the fuck I told them to do. Trevor Lawrence had a pretty good game. He was able to get the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. The only thing the Jags did was fuck me over at the game. They won, but I lost still. I bet $10. I got my little $10 bets. I had a nice little parlay. The parlay, I bet the under. I bet the Brian Thomas Jr. would score. I bet Tank Bigsby would score, and that the Jags would win -6. They hit 3 of those, and then they allowed the Patriots to score a garbage time touchdown. And then multiple bad things happened. The Patriots decided to go for it on 4th and 25 inside of their 10. They got tackled, and then the Jags just couldn't do the right thing and just say, you know what, we're gonna take a knee a couple times, man, and just or even kick a field goal, because I had another parlay that their kicker would have over 2 field goals. But no, Tank Bigsby had to score another touchdown, and that fucking blew my parlay. There's some good things that happened there, but they beat a bad team, and that's just the reality of it. Trayvon, one of the things that the Jags should be able to do is if they get all of their number 1 overall picks, or their top 5 picks, or their top 10 picks actually playing on a level that's really, really good, then they're going to be fine. Like Trayvon Walker's really the last couple games has been coming on. The boy with 2 last names is fucking up. He's nowhere to be seen. He's gotten his money. Everybody talks about quarterbacks are getting paid and not doing anything. Nobody talks about Josh Allen. Josh Allen has not been anywhere. And he said he wanted to separate himself from the other Josh Allen. Well, bitch, you're not. He's still the better Josh Allen. You just have 2 last names. Yeah, like you literally, everybody knows. If you don't know what my thoughts on men with 2 last names are, is that they're confused and they need to get that bitch up out of there. They need to go to alphacliniconline.com and make sure that their hormone levels are in check, because that makes absolutely no sense. Pick a last name like a man and roll with it. But Trayvon's played well. They need their linebacker play to increase. Tyson Campbell came back. You immediately saw the secondary play improve. Jarian Jones did well until the end of the game. Now, what I do need them to do is finish the end of the games better. That touchdown with Drake May was just bullshit. And it was starting to remind me of the Colts game, where they were winning, the game was over, but then they decided to let the Colts score 2 bullshit touchdowns and make the game tighter than what it really needed to be. James, why FSU people always go listen to you, then claim your information as theirs? Oh man, that's just the way life is, brother. That's just the way life is. I ain't worried about that. I'm just glad as long as they click the like button and subscribe, they can get their information from wherever the fuck they want to get their information from. But Jags are doing Jag things. They're doing better. Let's go to the next thing. I don't even know what I should have known.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bro, what is this?
Brother, this is Texas.
But like, this is the second group of cool kids we've seen doing this, right?
But the fucked up part is, if I'd have known, is this showing yet?
No.
I would not have bet that Texas would have beat Georgia if I seen this video.
Yep.
Where did you put the ice cream?
It's in the freezer.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jeez. This is the University of Texas locker room. My boy Jamie said this was an old video. Doesn't matter. Don't give a fuck when this video was made. If these guys are on the team, I shouldn't have picked. I had no business picking Texas to beat Georgia. But go ahead, play this. Can we? Because I don't want them to demonetize me. Yeah, that's exactly what they should look like.
You need those squeaky shoe sounds. Oh Lord. It's funny, but this one's not funny.
All right, this is safe space here, ladies, because they're doing this because of the ladies. Does this do anything for y'all? Like, why do y'all like? I want, like, I found out that my boy, I guess there's some dance where the boys like they put their hands up in the air and they like do something, and they like the booty jiggles or something like that. And they told me that like he didn't do it like that, but he did close to it. They said Trey was like, it's a name of it. And I said, he did what? And I smacked the back of his damn helmet. I said, boy, don't you ever let me see you hear about you doing some shit, some shenanigans. That's what you got to call it, man. You can't even call that some shenanigans, man. We ain't no shenanigan around here, man. Andre said, bro, in the green shorts look like he got some. But this is the crazy part. Like, why y'all don't be warning me about stuff like this? Because I know Kirby saw this. And Kirby saw an opportunity. Because Kirby Smart is vicious. And Kirby did all of this and then just go. Well, if I'd have known that, it fucked up my parlay, dog. But Georgia beat the shit out of Texas in a shitty offensive game, just all defense. Defense ran through them like fresh meat on the prison yard. It was crazy. Like, go to the next thing. This man, right? Oh man. I gotta find it. They got this thing I heard with Kirby. Somebody's fake Kirby Smart. But go ahead. Yo, that's not it, brother. Go get something else. All right, go ahead. Play Kirby. This is what Kirby had to say about everything.
Been in these battles. How do you know how to get the best out of your players when you need it most?
Man. Shit.
He wasn't afraid to say whatever he wanted to say.
That man said, your network didn't give us a chance. Hey, Carson was zooted, man.
Like my height.
But come on, Carson like 6'2". Like, can we go back? Like, just can we blow that picture up? Because just look at that. Like, it's just, he looks wild with that darkness and the red in the background. Like, Kirby's a psycho. Kirby was a psycho when he was at Florida State. So kudos to him. I know I'm gonna have to see him a couple times with some of these deals that I got going on. Kirby, I'm not sending them to you unless you'll be my second choice, though. Kirby could come in the house and recruit my son if he's there. Some guys, y'all ain't got no chance. My son can play for Kirby Smart, though. Go to the next thing. This was hilarious. It's extremely irresponsible for Austin to host an F1 race while Georgia football players are in town. Technically, this became a recruiting weekend for Georgia. One of the things that must happen for you to be able to play at Georgia is that you must know how to drive over 100 miles per hour very recklessly and endanger others. So kudos to Kirby for all of that. I think Kirby's going to be one of those guys that's going to coach for about 5-6 more years, and then he'll hang it up because it's just taxing on a lot of people. Somebody said you think that Mike's getting the bad. Check out the Alabama coach. Bump the Alabama coach, Jalen Milroe. But this is actually still relatively calm. A chick who's a big time, she does graphics for only Alabama players, but she got exposed to some shit. Like she acts like a young chick, but she's like actually like a happily married woman with like 3 kids or some shit like that. Just kind of weird. It's weird what some of y'all do on social media. Like, just be you. Like, you don't need an alternative lifestyle. Just be who the fuck you are. Stop being something on social media that you're not. But let's I don't know. I think what she wants to be she wants to be able to. She's playing on young boys. She could be a closet pedophile, but she puts. I'm 100% sure that not all Alabama fans are like this. And fans are in Milroe's IG comments, but players, keep your family around you at all times and only listen to their words. During good times, fans will crown you king, but the moment bad times come, they will waste no time tearing you down. And this is what she posted the video of his IG comments. Now, Florida State has disabled their YouTube comments, by the way. Yeah, it's hilarious. But if people can see that, I'll go and read some of these comments. Wait, hold on. I want a large fry, no salt, and I want my receipt. Pack your shit. It's not bad. They're telling them to go work at McDonald's. They told DJU to go get a CD. They made a Hayes Fawcett graphic for DJU that says DJU entering the transfer portal to get his CDL. It's terrible. On my life, you'd never touch another parlay list again. Yeah, turn off the comments. Transfer. You sold the damn season. Are we still let T and K basically let it know? Hell nah, he need to bench you. Jalen Monroe, my glorious King 4. I don't know who that. Trash cans. I can't keep defending you, bro. You're so bad, my dude. Trash. I hate hating, but honestly, based on performance of the team, we need to be doing a lot of doing this to keep silent. We get to the point. Don't try to come back next year either. Big dog. Oh, shoot. They're already adjusting Fields in the league, but don't need another go. Don't go play running back. I hope you aren't wearing that to the draft because it might be day 3 before you get taken. Should have listened to Bill O'Brien, switch to running back or something because you don't know how to throw the ball. Transfer bitch, you are single-handedly destroying this program with your incompetence of football playing. You don't need to be in town. He's a bum, monkey. Bro, when the pass rushers come and go towards, even if you take a sack, going backwards is never a good thing. Roll Tide. Your hair looks good out of your face. Oh, that's nice. You're quite handsome. Show it off like you do your talents. That was nice of her. Honest to God's truth, she's saying this. Have I read anything that's just over the top?
It's just annoying damn shit. It's not like
it's nothing like die.
Yeah.
They're like the Florida State fan that says, I know where DJU lives with his girlfriend and they're smiling and having too much fun. Like, let's go do something. But click on the next thing. And this is how fans really feel.
They are a bunch of hateful motherfuckers.
Oh, hateful. This is what he put. Jalen Milroe deserves to be called every slur in the book.
Golly. If it's funny, I like it.
That was funny. That made me chuckle a little bit. Don't call me a monkey. I hate that, man.
Yeah, which one is filled with hate?
Yeah. But none of them, like, I've seen way worse.
Yeah. Okay.
Seen way worse. Jalen, put up the where it should be getting a bunch of hate and he's getting sympathy because I'm of the effect that you people hate people who are like you. Like, you hate the people who you feel like are closer to you and that are just one step away from getting better. You get that coach video, the coach that quit, that I sent you. But I'm sick of it. But let's listen to what this man has to say about why he retired 4 days before the basketball season. Go ahead.
Student athletes to receive revenue. Please don't mistake me. I do. I think it is. But the game and college athletics is not in a healthy spot. It's not. And there needs to be change. And it's not going to go back. I think I was equipped to do the job here the old way. And that's who I am. And that's how it was. And my staff has buoyed me along to get to this point. But there needs to be change. It's going to be closer to a professional model, Coach Carlisle. I think it is, where there's got to be collective bargaining. There has to be a restriction on the salary pool that teams can spend. There has to be transfer regulation restrictions. There has to be some limits on the agent involvement to these young guys. And there are good agents and there are bad agents, and they're driving some of this stuff that we're in. And I worry a lot about the mental health of the student athletes as all this stuff comes down. And it's sometimes when you're in it, you have to step away, and maybe I can be an advocate for the student athletes and the coaches to get the changes. But this is a place that will not compromise and do it the right way. And I wish it could be me, but it can't. And when you know in your heart it's the time, you have to give it away.
Well, you said a lot of nothing. This is what this man did. This is what we as coaches, we as players, we as Americans, that we judge kids that enter the this coach entered the transfer portal right before the season. He made enough money. I wonder what he's made. He made enough money to be able to make the decision to be able to walk away and live his life where these young men are trying to aspire, whether it be degree, whether it be the NFL, whether it be anything. But Tony, he let's be for real. He walked away. He had an NFL career. An NBA career. He's coached he's coached as a head coach since 2006. He's highly touted, highly regarded. He made his money. He got paid over the summer. And he knew that the game wasn't in him. But what I say that because he went through a recruiting cycle. He went into young men. Okay. He was the 16th highest paid coach. He made $4 million a year for quite some time. He went through the recruiting process. He went into young men's homes. He talked to their mothers. He talked to their fathers. He built time. He built rapport. He built relationships. He told them, I'm going to make your young man a better man. I'm going to be there to mentor that young man. I'm going to be there for him. Some coaches go as far as to say, I'm going to be the father that he's never had. Or I'm going to be the father for your son while you're gone. He got them to commit to them. He got young men to commit to him, to go and put their bodies on the line and push themselves to limits that they never thought imaginable for him. And then he walked away from them because he couldn't cut it. And you got the nerve to talk about their mental health. You quit on them. They could have went anywhere else. They could have went with the man that actually had full intentions to be able to coach them for their career. But yet, what we'll do is we'll say things like it's the transfer portal is evil, when coaches have the right, because you know why? You made $4 million last year. And because a kid has a little bit of, like, don't accept turn the $4 million. You feel that way. It's kind of like reminiscing, because I've been watching, again, for those who watch me on social media and understand me, I've been watching Snowfall. And it was a scene at the end where Leon tells Franklin comes and says, I need that money. He says, man, I feel bad. This is ill-gotten gains. Well, give the money back then. If you don't feel it's out of control, give the $4 million back. You're a coward. A real man would have done this earlier and allowed the young men who were coming in to make an informed decision and allow the young men who were there to be able to do what's best for them. Now, it's cool that they got a brother to coach. I'm happy about that. Or he's got a Spanish name, so it's something. We know it's some season. It's some either seasoned salt or Goya is in the cabinets. Probably both. But what I'm saying is that y'all got to stop that. It's an article right here, man. And this is what you would never do this. They never do this for the kids. It's always vilifying the young men. The young men are bad guys. Why would this kid leave? Why would this kid do that? But Tony Bennett, let me see the article. Tony Bennett is doing this for basketball, for the betterment of basketball. Man, nah. I even see a guy who I really respect, who's very revolutionary, Eden Thomas, saying like, I see both sides. I don't see both sides. I don't see both sides. I see a man who would rip a kid if he did this to him. I don't care who he wanted it to get. I didn't commit to that assistant. I committed to Tony Bennett if I'm that kid. Or if he really did that, right? He did it for his assistants. Have no problem, right? Then let's just be for real. Be a man and said, I retired because I wanted to make sure that my guy got an opportunity to be the head coach. If that's why he did it. Like, you don't say, man, the game ain't in me no more. Or, the way that these kids is, and the agents, and there's good agents and there's bad agents. There's good agents and bad agents and everything, dog. There's good agents. There's college coaches who got good agents and got bad. What's funny is, who everybody, by the definition, do you know who a bad agent is? Jimmy Sexton. Jimmy Sexton is also, by the very definition, a good agent. If Jimmy Sexton was representing young men and told them that you hit the transfer portal and we're going to start seeing the market, like, think about what Jimmy Sexton did with Jimbo Fisher every year to Florida, if you're a Florida State fan. That's who made Jimbo basically say, I'm leaving every year for 3 years. But when the rabbit got the gun, that's bad agents doing it. That's bad agents doing it. You cannot tell young men and women now to go and commit, 13 years of education, kindergarten through 12th grade, sometimes pre-K, so damn near 14 years of education. That American exceptionalism is due to being a capitalistic country, and they get mad and indoctrinate these young men and women into knowing and believing about capitalism, and then get fucking upset and say that the system's not working once they start participating in capitalism. It's why they don't trust you now. It's why the culture is the way it is, because you're bullshit. You talk out of both sides of your mouth. You're all hypocrites. Tell them the truth. Get your paper, daddy. I ain't mad at you. Now, it's real simple. You could have recruited a kid, built a report. Kid can get $10 million from somewhere. You can't pay him $10 million. Shake that motherfucker's hand and say, hey, man, go do your thing, baby. Hope it works out for you, man. I appreciate the opportunity. Because what would you do to that kid? What would you expect that kid to do to you if you get offered $10 million? You're not going to say, man, this is what's wrong with the game. You know, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to ride it out. Coaches get the opportunity to come and go as they please and get mad and throw fucking temper tantrums when the people that are supposed to be working for them, that they're supposed to be mentoring and molding, do that. Attitude reflects leadership. How can you get mad at kids doing exactly what you did? How did you go walk and tell those kids at Washington State that you were leaving to go cross country to Virginia to go coach for $4 million a year? Were you mad at the system then in 2009 when you left the basketball, when you left March Madness with that team and you told them, I'm going to the University of Virginia? I doubt it. That would be crazy. They Baker Act your ass if you did some shit like that. You should be happy. What's wild is he was at Washington State for one season, and then he was an assistant, and I guess their coach left and he took the job over. And let's say that happens with the new guy, and in 2 years, when he leaves and said he got the job the same way you got the job at Washington State, are you going to tell him you should have stuck around and helped these kids out? Or are you going to shake his hand and say, good job? Way to do your thug dizzle. Y'all got to watch yourselves when y'all around here talking about these kids. When you're out here like, oh shit, that's why he was the coach of the year at Washington State too. When you're out here building and molding these guys, and then you remember, oh shit, I got to get my paper, daddy. Tony Cash, what you want to know about the word on Trevor Jackson is he's a walk-on quarterback from Orlando. That's a really good kid that's going to develop into something. It's the word on Trevor Jackson. I'll stop that shit. Yeah, please stop that. Let that kid develop, because all y'all going to do is get that kid in a situation where y'all going to say he fucking sucks too and actually ruin him too. All that being said, you said you had some other stuff, Miles, or we can wait till Friday. I just wanted to come in and I didn't want to not do a show for 3 days, because I'm sure a bunch of shit's gonna happen on Fridays. Check this right here. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Smashdown. What I probably will do is I'll just tell my guy Luke to slide on up on Friday's show. We'll talk a little bit about Miami, Miami and Florida State. We'll talk about Florida and now how they have their future quarterback there. We'll talk about the NFL. We'll talk about doing some parlays. Also, make sure you consider becoming a member, $3.99 all the way up to $99. Whatever you want to do, it's there for you. We appreciate everybody doing their thing. You know what, Lerone? It can happen, man. I didn't realize Kennesaw State beat Liberty. The sun shines on the donkey's ass, on donkey's ass every now and then. Boy. Where you gonna go? My man said, am I worried about Trevor in the transfer portal? No, I'm not. There's Tramel Jones is coming in, and he'll be fine. We have quarterbacks coming in. Where would he go? He came to Florida State because that's where he could go. And if he goes somewhere else, I'm going to wish him the best, because I think I've met his family before the spring game. I've got a chance to talk to him. I think he's a good kid. I just think you guys are falling into the trap that anything is better than DJU. And I think, as we've seen right now, that's just not the case. But I will say for LeBron, if we do something crazy, like beat a DB and catch the fucking ball, we might beat somebody. But the reality is one thing that nobody wants to accept, because at the end of the day, we're 1-6 and you're mad, you're angry. And I get that you're mad and I get that you're angry. But there are plays to be made. and we're just not making plays. And unlike my teammate, I remember what it was like to play for an actually shitty offensive coordinator. Good person, actually shitty offensive coordinator. And I also remember what it was like to want to win in spite of things, because at the end of the day, my position coach used to tell me, I'm going to send your ass back to fucking Rock. I think they need to get back to coaching that way. But I don't think some of these kids are really from the environments that are as bad as what people think. As my favorite rapper, and there's a Jay-Z quote for everything in life, as he put in, I did it my way. In the beginning, he said, I'm from the real hood. Nah, nigga, the real hood. Not the rap hood, the real hood. Like 2 pairs of jeans. I'm going to take it to another step. You know how I got jean shorts when I was my son's age? I played outside in them jeans. We played football. We played basketball. I fall onto the concrete, and that jean get a hole in it. And you know what my mama would do? She cut around the kneecap. And I had the little straw things hanging out. And then sometimes when she felt snazzy, she'd hem them bitches. Like, so I could have it, so it could look like a good pair of Wranglers. So now I'm talking about I had Walmart jeans. How I got khaki shorts, same fucking way. You know how hard it is to how hard it is to cut Dickie shorts? I mean, Dickie khakis. Some of y'all don't even know what Dickie, those are the workmen's khakis. Like before they got blew up and got popular, we went to go, that was our khakis. I had Dickie khakis that was like that wasn't even that expensive. I had Saucony. Y'all don't know about Saucony's, right? Saucony's was $39.99. Tennis shoes that were raggedy. My first pair of football shoes were baseball cleats. McGregor's. You don't even know what McGregor's are. You know where you get McGregor cleats from? Payless. Buy more, get less. Y'all don't know what it was like, because there was a Payless store in the Tallahassee Mall, right? And it wasn't far from the Foot Locker. And my mom would go into the Payless store, and my friends would be in the mall, and they would walk by, and you got to kind of like, they had these like rows of shoes, and you kind of like duck behind the shoes so that your friends didn't see you in Payless. Like when I was playing, those are the things that I remember, man. Like, they're not playing for that. They're not playing. That's the crazy, that's the wild part. I don't give a fuck what plays call. Every offensive player is designed to score. Every defensive player is designed to stop the offense from scoring, man. You don't know about not, like my sons can go eat. I could go take my son to go eat a Brazilian steakhouse. I was happy to go to Ryan's or Quincy's Steakhouse, which I thought was actually a good steakhouse. I didn't even realize what it was. I thought kids couldn't eat steak. My mom would get a steak. I had to get the buffet. But now, you know, I'm joking about it, but I also understand the sacrifice. She just cut a piece of her steak and she give it to me. It was probably some little 8-ounce cheap-ass fucking sirloin, but she got it for me. Doused in A1 sauce, and now I know what it's not, and then I eat that. You know, K-Swiss, before K-Swiss was popular. Again. Y'all know, I mean, again, Magruder, McGregor, there's like a whole bunch of mixed shoes. Like, my friends getting Jordans, I'm getting Antonio McDyess sneakers. Y'all didn't even know who fucking Antonio McDyess is. And you probably didn't even know Antonio McDyess had a sneaker. But it was because it was a name. My mom was just like, you gonna rock that. That's the real problem. And when my coach said, and my mom didn't even live in the hood no more when he said that. She had a little house. She had a crib. I wish when he told me he gonna send me back to 1033C, I said, man, I ain't going back to 1033C. Rollins, dog. Caleb, they don't know nothing about no Rollins cleats, man. Do you know how bad it is to have fucking baseball cleats in football? Some of y'all don't even know it's a whole different fucking shoe. But again, like, you know, I know that some of these kids got these sob stories. They don't know about not having meat for a week. Like, they eat ramen because it's cool, because it's chic now. I remember I just started eating it again because I said no matter how, I ate ramen so much as a kid that it literally fucked me up. I actually saw a kid. I felt so bad for this little. I almost bought this little girl lunch today at high school. This little girl eating Vienna sausages. I said, girl, how fucking old are you? Why are you a 60-year-old woman eating Vienna sausages, man? Vienna sausages and crackers. Some of you, I would never be that poor again. I don't give a fuck. I would not eat no damn Vienna sausages and some damn, you know. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, that's the truth is. I mean, some of these kids are they lost touch. They lost touch of what it is. And y'all want to make it. It's real fucking simple. Doesn't mean you're gonna win every game, but it does mean you're gonna compete and you're gonna fight. But like, nah, don't try ramen. If you ain't never ate it before, it's really just all of that shit is doctored up ramen. I'm trying to think other stuff, man. Like just like your shoe kids, like these kids' shoes don't talk no more. Like, do you know what it was like to wear shoes until they talked? Like, I'm talking about like the bottom of my shoes would just like, and you had to go to school like that. Like, do you know? Like, do you understand my cleats? My senior year in high school, I think I have them in the garage. My cleats my senior year in high school. The side of it came off, and my mom was like, "I am not buying you no more cleats." Man, I'm talking about, bro. I taped them bitches. I took the white game tape. I'm one of the best players in the city of Tallahassee, playing with his shoes taped, not to protect his ankles, to make sure the shoe didn't come off. Coaches, I'll tell you guys some stuff that college coaches used to tell. That some of my college coach friends say, right? I'm going into neighborhoods where I see eviction notices and red pay your utility bill in 5 days. He's like, because I know them kids got something to play for. I'll give them $500. They're gonna be grateful for it. Like, I mean, I don't think it's because they got money, you know, with the NIL. I just think some of these kids just aren't what they had. And some kids got it. And I don't think that it's necessarily like my son's struggles will be different than mine. But you can teach that. It's a guy I want everybody to follow. If you go look up, it's on Instagram. His name is John Brown. It's a John Brown Coffee. For those who don't know, he's Amon St. Brown. All the St. Browns, that's their dad. And he talks about how they grew up in privileged California, but he would take them down to Compton into where he grew up at and force them to play ball with the hood kids so that they can learn to play with that edge. He couldn't just have them around those guys. So like you can grow, like my son doesn't have to grow up like that to have that chip on his shoulder. He actually has a pretty solid, for what I think, he has a pretty solid chip on his shoulder. So some of that stuff, they just got to find out what they got to play for. And when you're playing for that, it does motivate you to do a little bit better. That's the secret sauce. That's really what, when I'm listening to D-Rob, that's what I want to hear D-Rob talk about. Like what was the motive? Like to me as a teammate, if y'all want to clip this and show my guy who I love to death, that's my brother. We have some funny, fucking hilarious stories from college together. I would love to have him on the Dope Boys Talk. But what was your motivation? Like, what do you do? Like, what would you do in this situation when you're 1-6? How would you? I would tell them I would never be in this situation. Somebody would have got their head split at this point. But I get it. Everybody's like yelling and shit. But like, none of y'all really lived it. Hey, man, that government cheese made the best grilled cheese sandwiches, man. Like, if you got it melted the right way, man, that shit was fire, dog. In recruiting Daily Chopper, those are players that Mike's recruiting. Some of them are. I don't even know. I'm gonna tell you want to know the truth? And I don't think this is anything indicative. Well, actually, you know what? Solomon plays for Reigns, one of the most inner city schools in Jacksonville. Solomon's also damn near he's a junior fucking deacon. He plays the piano, he sings, he acts. I honest to God's truth, I need my lineman to be grittier than that. But that doesn't mean he ain't a bad motherfucker. I don't know what some of these other cats is. I don't think just because you come up in the hood, you can't help your zip code. That don't mean that doesn't mean you tough. But I'm gonna tell you this: just like quoting Bible scriptures don't make you a Christian, being from the hood don't make you tough. But at the end of the day, we can name this. You can tell them I fucking said it. I'll see them next week. I am fucking tired of reading Bible scriptures. If you want to read some Bible scriptures, read about David's mighty men. Go be a badass motherfucker that kills people. Like, give me some Old Testament stuff. Stop quoting that New Testament shit. Go quote some Old Testament shit and go be an Old Testament motherfucker. Well, that's the problem. Most of y'all quoting and reading shit that you don't even know nothing about, that you don't live and you don't operate in it. You're not a tough guy, and that's okay. Stop talking like it or just be about it. Don't nobody need to free shit. Go free your fucking. That my motive, my words to the fan base. And if anybody says, James, retweet Freedom Youngins, I'm about to put it out right now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna tweet it right now. Fuck Bible scriptures. I won't say fuck Bible scriptures because y'all get real sensitive when I say shit like that. I'm gonna hashtag free yourselves. And I'm gonna start doing that. What's that retarded girl from South Carolina that can't read with the big booty that won American Idol? Fantasia. What she made that song called Free Yourself? I'm putting free yourselves. Go out there and do what you need to do. And I promise you, you'll get the opportunity to make plays. It's the only hashtag you need. Anyways, man, again, appreciate y'all. Hopefully y'all guys will go check out the oh shit, damn. Hey man. Baby girl hooked her brother up. She sent him a $50 $50 on the Cash App. Yeah, but nah, the real talk, man. Go free yourselves, guys. I believe he can say it too, dog. But I don't want to see no more Bible scriptures, dog. Y'all can have that, man. On that note, appreciate you guys. Come check us out on Friday. Big Games BS. We'll be there in the morning. Appreciate y'all guys for saying happy birthday to my baby boy Killer. Don't know. Oh, he got nothing on Thursday. Thursday is Retwist Thursday, but I can't wait to get fresh. Can't see my barber though, so I ain't gonna have no magician. Like, my barber be doing amazing shit to my face, dog. Shout out to the barbers who don't have astigmatism and got good hands and don't have what's the thing that Brett Favre said he got that I'm glad about? Where you got the shape, it's Parkinson's. Couldn't happen to a better person. But on that note, appreciate y'all guys for chopping it up with me. See y'all guys next time.
Thank you.